Grammar Lesson 14. This week we're going to look at two types of clauses. Those are noun clauses and ellipse clauses. A clause, remember, is a group of words that contains a verb and its subjects. And like I said, we're going to look this week at two types, which are noun clauses and then ellipse clauses. A noun clause is a subordinate clause that functions as a noun within the sentence. That noun clause could be found in the subject, it could be found in the predicate nominative, it could be found in your direct object or your indirect object or your object of the preposition. So basically it could be found in any part of the sentence. There are certain words that introduce noun clauses, and these are important to know, especially if you have difficulty in identifying noun clauses. So I'd like for you to stop the video at this point and write these down in your notes so that you have them for reference as you do the exercises. Let's look at some examples of a noun clause. What I need is my own room. What I need is my noun clause, and here it functions as a subject in my sentence. In our second example, the happiest time of my life was when we went to Costa Rica for the summer. Notice your noun clause is underlined there. Here, when we went to Costa Rica for the summer, functions as a noun clause, but it's a predicate nominative within my sentence. In my third example, she believed that lost time is never found again. That lost time is never found again is my noun clause, and its function as a direct object in this sentence. And in our last example, we will give whoever wins the contest a prize. Whoever wins the contest is my noun clause, and in this sentence it's functioning as an indirect object. So you can see it can be any place within your sentence. Now we have certain words that introduce noun clauses, and sometimes those introductory words have a grammatical function within the sentence, and sometimes they don't. Let's look at a couple examples. The first is, do you know what the problem is? What the problem is our noun clause. The subject is problem, the verb is, and in this case our introductory word what is functioning as a predicate nominative, because if you made this into a statement, it would say the problem is what. So what would be a predicate nominative. But let's look at the second example. I know that she's worried. Well, now in this case, she is my subject, is my verb, my predicate adjective is worried, and our introductory word that has no grammatical function within the sentence. So to determine if your word has function within the sentence, you need to really analyze your sentence and look at the parts of speech. Now ellipses in noun clauses. An ellipse is when our introductory word is deleted and our hearer or our reader of that sentence understands that the word would normally be there, but it has been omitted. For example, he was told attendance is approving. Now our reader or our hearer understands that the word that would be there and it's understood, so the speaker doesn't use it. A second example, the judge mentioned she was born in Guana. So our introductory word that here again is understood. These are considered to be ellipses. But this is just one word. This is just an ellipse. Now when we have elliptical clauses, the word elliptical comes from ellipses and it means the omission of a word, or maybe more than one word. When a part of a clause can be left out because its meaning is clearly understood from the context of a sentence, it is called an elliptical clause. Most elliptical clauses are considered to be adverb clauses. Frequently, either the subject or the verb or both have been omitted from the adverb clause in order to create the elliptical clause. These clauses are dependent or subordinate, and they have to be joined to an independent or main clause for meaning. So let's look at some examples. Sarah enjoys reading much more than Jake. So in this situation, what's been omitted? And it's the verb does. So without the omission, our sentence would read, Sarah enjoys reading much more than Jake does. But since our hearer or our reader understands that, the second verb has been omitted. Let's look at one more example. Sarah needs to finish the book as soon as possible. Okay, in this situation, the word it has been omitted from the clause, as soon as it is possible. So without the omission, the sentence would read, Sarah needs to finish the book as soon as it is possible. But because our hearer or reader understands that, it has been omitted. One reminder that's really important. When you're trying to determine what your elliptical clause is, and you're looking at subject and verb, and you determine that a verb is what's missing, remember that your verb needs to agree with your main verb from your main clause. So let's look at an example for this. While painting, Bob concentrated completely on his work. So our elliptical clause is while painting. The words that are omitted from our elliptical clause are my subject, Bob, and a verb. So would it be, while Bob is painting, Bob concentrated completely on his work? Nah. Remember, our verbs have to match. It would have to be a past tense verb. While Bob was painting, Bob concentrated completely on his work. So as an elliptical clause, it would say, while painting. We would know because of the agreement issue that our elliptical verb would have to be was, past tense, because concentrated is past tense. So in review, remember that our ellipses are adverb clauses that don't have a subject and a verb. They have an introductory word, which would be the subordinating conjunction, and a participle of a verb. So let's look at this for example. One more to look at. While strolling through the park, Kate thought the moon looked beautiful. So my elliptical clause would be while strolling through the park. If I'm going to analyze that, then I would say the words that have been omitted would be Kate was. While Kate was strolling through the park, Kate thought the moon looked beautiful. So in this lesson, we've looked at noun clauses that can be at any position within your sentence, that function as a noun in the sentence. Then we've looked at elliptical clauses, which can be part of a noun clause if our introductory word on a noun clause is omitted. It's an ellipse. But elliptical clauses are clauses in which the subject and the verb has been removed, and they're often used as adverbial clauses. So we're going to do some exercises on this. These are a couple of the more difficult clauses to identify. So do your best. Do the exercises. If you're doing the worksheets or the textbook, that's fine, but just remember that you need to correct this part in order for yourself to get credit. If you make mistakes, that's okay. It's a learning process. We're going to work some more with this skill in class on Monday. So bring any questions you have at that time, and I will see you on Monday.